There was a time when the Toyota Supra MK4 sat unsold at dealerships. Its sleek lines and big wing didn't make much sense to the average buyer in the mid-90s. It wasn't luxurious, it wasn't cheap, and it wasn't exactly fuel efficient. But under the hood was something magical, the 2JZGTE, a twin-turbo straight-six engine that could handle more power than Toyota ever intended. It was overbuilt in the best way possible. In the early 2000s, you could pick up a used Supra for under $20,000. Tuners knew the secret, but most people didn't care, until The Fast and the Furious came out in 2001. That movie turned the Supra into a cultural icon overnight. It went from a tuner favorite to a collector's dream. Now, a clean, low-mileage manual MK4 can sell for over $150,000. The Supra's story isn't just about performance, it's about timing, culture, and a little bit of Hollywood magic. In the 70s, the Datsun 240Z changed everything. It was Japan's answer to European roadsters. But faster, cheaper, and more reliable. It had beautiful proportions, agile handling, and a straight-six engine that loved to rev. But by the 80s and 90s, 240Zs were everywhere. They were just old cars, rust-prone, heavily modified, often neglected. Many were scrapped. Others were sold for a few $1,000s tops. But something changed. Collectors began to appreciate the 240Z as a symbol of Japanese innovation. It wasn't just a cheap sports car. It was the beginning of Japan's dominance in the performance market. Today, a pristine example can fetch $80,000 or more. And original, unrestored models with matching numbers are even more sought after. The E30M3 was never built to be flashy. It was a homologation special, a race car disguised as a road car. Boxy fenders, a high-revving four-cylinder, manual steering. It didn't look like much to non-enthusiasts. In the early 2000s, they were just old BMWs. People saw them as underpowered and outdated. You could buy one for under $10,000. But on the track, it was magic, perfect balance, precise feedback, a chassis that felt alive. As time passed, people realized this wasn't just another BMW. This was the foundation of the M legacy. Now collectors pay over $100,000 for clean, original examples, and even more for special editions like the Evo 2 or Sport Evolution. It's the kind of car that makes you feel something, and that's priceless. When the NSX debuted in 1990, no one took it seriously. Why would anyone pay Ferrari money for a Honda? But then people drove it, mid-engine layout, aluminum construction, titanium connecting rods, and most importantly, it was reliable. Ayrton Senna helped fine-tune its suspension, giving it a sharpness that surprised even the toughest critics. Still, prices dropped in the early 2000s. Some examples sold for as low as $30,000. People just didn't value analog driving experiences yet. Fast forward to today, and the NSX is considered a masterpiece of engineering. It was ahead of its time, and today, clean examples regularly sell for over $120,000. For decades, the Porsche 944 was dismissed. It wasn't a 911, so it was seen as the other Porsche, front-engined, water-cooled, and cheaper. But the 944 Turbo was special. It had nearly 220 horsepower, a near 50-50 weight distribution, and brilliant handling. It wasn't about raw power, it was about balance. For years, you could pick one up for under $10,000. People modded them, daily drove them, and barely maintained them. Then came the wave of 80s nostalgia. Collectors realized these were proper sports cars with timeless design. Clean 944 turbos now fetch $40,000 to $60,000, with rare additions like the Turbo S going even higher. The first-gen Bronco was introduced in 1966 as a simple, no-frills off-roader, boxy, rugged, basic. For decades, they were just old trucks. Many were used, abused, and forgotten. You could buy one for a few grand, or less. But when vintage off-roaders started making a comeback, the Bronco was suddenly cool again. It had personality, presence, and serious collector value. Add to that the hype around the new Ford Bronco release, and prices skyrocketed. Fully restored first-gen Broncos now regularly top $100,000. Some rare trims, like the U13 Roadster, go even higher. The VW bus wasn't fast, it wasn't powerful, but it had charm, and it became a symbol of freedom, travel, and counterculture in the 60s and 70s. For years, they were just used vans, underpowered and slow, often rusting out or left to rot in backyards. But then came the boom. People began restoring them, sharing stories, paying tribute to road trips and simpler times. Today, split-window Type 2s in perfect condition can sell for over $200,000. Even beat-up ones can fetch $30,000 plus, depending on originality. It's nostalgia on wheels, and collectors love it.